and welcome to the first Knittin'Kitten podcast. You can find me on Instagram under JustADoseOfLove, on Ravelry under the name Takamourita, and on Artfire under JustADoseOfLove. I will put all of that info in the notes below, as well as any other show notes that come up today. So first I just want to say thank you for joining me today. I am so happy that you're here, and I am just really excited to spend some time together. So my name is Mallory again. I am from Edmonton, Alberta, where I live with my two cats and my roommate Connor. You can see my cats, I believe. I have Simon over here in the basket, he's gray, and then you can just see Sika's head. She's over here somewhere, and she's kind of in a basket over there laying down. So yeah, me, cats, knitting. I am going to be talking about knitting and yarn and fabric and just kind of any crafts that I happen to be doing at the time, and I think we should just kind of get right into it. So I'd like to start with what's on my needles, and there are quite a few things there. I am definitely not a monogamous knitter. I tend to go from one thing to another pretty quickly, and I like to have several things on the go at the same time. So I'm going to start with my oldest project, which, well, I'll show you in a minute. So it is in this project bag, which is made for me by Melinda over at rhyFlower Knits. She and I work together, and she is just like an amazing human being. The kinds of things that she does and accomplishes are way more than any normal person should be able to do in one day. But check her out. She's over at rhyFlower on Instagram, on Ravelry, and I believe her Etsy shop is also rhyFlower Knits. She makes project bags and stitch markers and progress keepers, and she also actually dyes yarn as well. Oh, and she writes patterns, which I might talk about a little bit later. But we started this shawl together. This is Helen Stewart's Summertide shawl. And this was our second friendship shawl, which I still haven't finished, as you can see here. I might as well show you the right side. Sorry, my needles aren't very long, so you can't really see it very stretched out here. So the reason this one is so old here, both of these yarns were gifted to me by Melinda. We made shawls with matching yarn. This one, I have no idea what it's called, but it's this beautiful blue, and it goes so great with this one, which is actually called Bubblegum, and I believe it is from Sea Turtle Fiber Arts on their Ridley sock, I think. Like I said, I got it from Melinda, and she got it at Fiber Week, so I don't actually know. But anyways, you can see here, this whole section is wrong. The first, or the last half, or inch here is actually, it should be an entire section over, so this beautiful lace should be right here, and that's why I have made no progress on it. I just don't think, I don't know, I don't think I can live with it. I think I'm going to have to pull it back, and I just don't have the courage to do that right now. I think I'm going to have to drink some wine, probably, and just kind of go at it at some point when I'm a little inebriated, because it's just too painful to rip it back that far on lace. So that is my oldest project. I believe we started it in August, and I think she finished hers like 3 weeks later. But here we are 6 months down the road, and I'm still working on it. That is on some size 6 needles, and that is that project. Now, project number 2 is almost a finished object. Almost. It is so close. I have 6 stitches that are left to be grafted in. And this was a knit along that we did within the knitting club that we have at work. There's 4 of us who all work together, and we all knit. We get together on Tuesdays or Thursday nights, depending on the week, and we just kind of knit together. So we did the Dotted Rays shawl by Stephen West, and that was our second knit along. And as you can see here, I am so close to being done. It's so pretty. It's got this beautiful I-cord bind off and I-cord edge. And I just love it because then my second color is going underneath the I-cord and you can't even see it coming along there. But I am so close. I just have these last 6 stitches that need to come off and then I can block it. And then it'll be a finished object. And I am just so excited. Both of these yarns are exclusive to my local yarn store. They are Adam and Eve by Handmaiden, I believe. This one is called Ash, and this one, it starts with an H and I really can't say it. And what's funny is originally I had a yarn that was this green color that's in here. I believe it was called Tourmaline, and it's also an Adam and Eve yarn. And then when I got home, I realized it was worsted weight and not fingering weight, so then I went back, I bought the Ash, and I think I like it way more than I would have with the green. It's just a really nice contrast. So I'm super happy with the progress I've made on this one, which we started in December, which is still a while, but a lot better than July. And I've got these on my size 6 Addies, which I bought because the needles that they were on actually snapped right here. And then I had to kind of rush to the yarn store before knitting club so I could knit. So hopefully this will be a finished object next time. Project number 3 is hanging out in this beautiful little owl bag that I made for myself. Just saw the fabric and it spoke to me because I really love owls, as you'll come to know, and apparently I really like orange, which I didn't know until this year, but I do. And I am doing this on some size 1 needles, and it is the Hermione's Everyday Sock pattern. This is my Christmas Eve cast on. So we all started knitting club, we did our Christmas Eve socks, and since I have an entire year to do it, I'm not really too worried about the fact that I only have that much done, because I have a whole year. But I really love the pattern. This is actually technically the first pair of socks I've made. Well, first pair of socks I've started, but it is on Turtlepurl's Serenity colorway. So it's Firefly, the show Firefly, inspired colors. You can see it's kind of like Jane's hat over here, and that's like Mal's brown coat. I don't know. I really love it. So that's where this is at. Really enjoying these. I didn't know I was going to like socks so much, but apparently I do. And then, in this bad boy, which I also made, funny story, we walked into Fabricland one day, and there was all this Star Wars fabric, so I just bought a whole bunch, and I have so many bags I need to make with it, but on the inside you can see Stormtroopers. So we've got Stormtroopers and Vader, and it's just like this huge bag, which is perfect for a shawl, like 3 skeins. It is massive. Oh, and I also added this little thing on the inside, a little hook, that can hold all of your stitch markers and your progress keepers, so they're not all hanging out in the bottom of your bag. So that's actually really exciting. I love it. You can see my cute little cheepy sheep. I hope you can see that. Anyways. Oh, another really nice thing about this large bag is you can fold over the top, which is great. I really like that, especially when you're using more than one kind of yarn. You just pull out really nice. Anyways, this one, it is gorgeous. It is one of Melinda's shawl designs, and I was helping her test knit. And she finished hers way before I did, of course. But I was busy working on my January socks, which I'll show you next. But it is going to be huge. It's got all of this stockinette stitch, which I actually dyed myself at Melinda's house. That was really fun. That was the first time I dyed yarn with her. It was great. So it's got this beautiful stockinette stitch with all of the blues and the greens, and then this, which is, oh, what are you? SweetGeorgia yarn in their Birch colorway, and that's on their CashLuxe fine base. But I'm not very far yet, but what you can see here, she's got beads incorporated into her pattern, and I am alternating sections with these beautiful blue beads and this green, which I think really complements some of the greens in this colorway here. I've got probably that much more to do, but it's all the lace, and I mean, it is so easy because you have all this stockinette in the middle, and then the beads, that's just like, that is the eye catcher in this pattern. And it is just gorgeous. I am so excited to finish this. You can see that up on her Ravelry page. She has her finished version, which is this beautiful purple and a variegated purple on the outsides, but it is really pretty. Let me just see it there. I'm just obsessed with these beads. So that is that. And last but definitely not least, sorry, I'm just going to take a sip of tea here. My voice is getting a little dry. So good. I am normally a white tea person, but I don't have any at my house right now, surprisingly. All my tea's at work. So I am drinking this organic North African mint. It's from David's Tea and their advent calendar last year. So you can see up here I've written some numbers, and then as I'm going through my second cup, because there's about enough for 2 cups in each of these little tins that it comes in. The first time I drink it I just enjoy it, and then the second time I rate it. So I'll be rating this one. I don't know, I think it's, I'm not really a fan of mint. It's kind of, it feels dry to me, if that makes sense, but I think I'll give it probably a solid 3, which doesn't mean it's bad, it's just not my thing. So. Alright, like I said, last but definitely not least, I have my Harris tweed socks in this beautiful, beautiful colorway, which was also gifted to me by Melinda because she bought it before she realized she didn't like sparkle. And this is from Dragonfly Dyeworks. It is on their sparkle sock base, and it's called the Caps Pajamas. And I am making these for the Grocery Girls January sock cal, so they're kind of doing like a box of socks kind of thing, but they're also doing 1 sock per month, and you're supposed to have either a yarn that makes you think of January or a pattern that makes you think of January. And even though this was gifted to me by Melinda, this yarn just like speaks January to me. You've got all of the dark purples, so it's like twilight because it's always dark here in Edmonton. You have the lighter blues and the really light blue, and that's kind of like snow. And then you've got all the sparkle, and like if you've ever seen snow in the winter, it is very, very sparkly. So these are my January socks. As you can see, I have this one mostly done. I just need to weave in the ends and put the afterthought heel in. And my other one, I don't have it here, but I am just putting the string in for my afterthought heel now. So tomorrow at Knitting Club, I'm going to have to do the entire leg, and, well, actually no, I'm going to try and get most of the leg done tonight, and then at Knitting Club tomorrow I'll be doing the toes and the heels. So, super excited. This is going to be my first official finished pair of socks, and It's for a cow with the grocery girls who are actually also local to me, and I'm just really excited. I'm finishing projects here everywhere. It's just great. I'm so excited. Anyways, I was using size 1s just like with my Hermione everyday socks, and then I actually switched to the 8-inch Addy Turbos, and I just to give it a shot. I really hate changing out my needles every time I go around, and I'm actually quite enjoying the 8-inch circulars. They do cramp up my hand a little bit, but I think I'll get used to it. So there's that. Now, as far as finished objects, I don't really think this one counts, but I'm going to show it to you anyways because it's my most recent finished object, and this is podcast number 1, so that's just how it's going to work. Now, this was our Knitting Club Cal number 1. It is Janina's On the Road shawl, and what happened was Knitting Club went over to Melinda's house. We each dyed the yarns that we wanted to use, and then we just kind of made this. We made our shawls, so it's completely personalized. Again, we have the orange that apparently I'm in love with, and you can just see it's just a bit of a variegated orange with a really light yellow. So I think I used the Aztec Gold for both of these. One's just a really watered down version, and this is how it turned out. And I don't know, this, especially being in an orange and a yellow, it makes me think of honeycomb, so I'm just really in love with how this turned out. I love wearing it, and it's so warm, which is great for winter. So that is my most recent finished object. I think I finished that at the end of December. So again, hopefully next podcast I will have my dotted rays shawl done for you, and then we can show you that. Fingers crossed. I love this so much. This is so pretty. Okay. Anyways, I do need to run this in 20-minute chunks because that's just how my camera works apparently. So we're just going to run this in 20-minute chunks then. Now, what else do I want to show you? Oh, yes. I have another craft that I had going on. I am a player of Magic the Gathering. I actually had the guys put up a floating shelf above my fireplace mantle just for my Magic cards because they were getting a little out of hand on the other shelf. So on top of my shelf, I'm going to be hanging these Magic the Gathering inspired wooden pictures, I guess. I just used the transfer technique with some paper, Mod Podge, a matte gel medium, and then you just rub it off. If you've never seen that, you can see it turned out really well for this one. The second one turned out really well, and then it started not turning out so well for me after that. You can see my black mana is not so great. All of the ink is coming off. I'm not really sure why this happened, but it happened with my white mana too. And then it is like I didn't even try the fire. Didn't even try red. It's still hanging out there because I'm scared it's all gonna wipe off. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to, I mean I definitely have to redo the other two, and we'll see how this one turns out when I get around to getting the nerve up to take the paper off. Hopefully I only have to redo 2 of them. That's a craft I have on the go. And then that is it for crafts that I'm currently working on. Now I want to get into a little bit of stash enhancement. So I am terrible when it comes to Fabricland. I walked in the other day and I accidentally bought a whole bunch of fabric. This is all going to turn into project bags. So I've got these 2. It's vibrant pink and this blue. They have scissors on them, which I think is perfect for crafts, so I don't know if that's going to go on the inside of the bag yet or not. I'm not too sure. Maybe the outside. Sorry. I don't know. And then I have these ones, which is kind of this old-timey blue on a really nice off-white. On this side, oh, these are actually two different ones. On this side, you've got all of these bobbins and thread, and on the other side, there's an old-time sewing machine. So you can see I was really into the scissors and the crafting fabric. I'm really excited to see how those turn out, and I am super excited to show you when they turn out. So then I just saw these really cute little patchwork hearts. So I think those are going to go on the inside of a bag, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to pair them up with these little pandas. So it's going to be really adorable little bags. Just the inner kid in me was throwing a temper tantrum for me to get this fabric. So then I have this one, which is just kind of like gray tones. That beautiful patterns. I'm really a fan of these kind of patterns, but I just never know what to do with them. But I bought this one too because I felt like I should be a little more of an adult than the pandas. Who likes being an adult? No one, but I like buying fabric, so it works out. And then this last one, this one totally caught my eye, and I hope you can see why. Oh, look at that. This is summer. This is totally summer, and it's very winter here, so I need all the summer I can get. That is it for stash enhancement. I am a liar because I actually went out to buy my February sock yarn today, but it is nowhere near me, and I'm pretty sure it might actually be in my car, so I'm not going to go grab that, and I'm not going to show you, but I will show you next week when I have started my February socks. And that about wraps it up. So again, my name is Mallory. I am so glad you joined me on the first Knittin'Kitten podcast. I really hope you come back and we hang out again. I am totally open to any questions that you may have within reason about myself or, I don't know, my crafts, anything really that you want to ask. So please feel free, and I'll see you next time.